Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call the meeting to order. As a reminder, please note that board meetings are being recorded for the convenience of those unable to attend this meeting. A recording and closed captioning will be posted to the BERS YouTube channel following the meeting. Alex, can you please call roll?
Isaac Carmignani.
Present.
Thank you. Janelle Chacon. Thank you. April Chapman. Deborah Dillingham. Deb, I think you're on mute.
Here.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I have this terrible connection.
Thank you. Natalie Green Giles.
Present.
Thank you. Eric Henry.
Present. Hold on one second. They're going to call me
Thank
real
you.
quick, baby. Just 1 second.
Michael Kraft.
Present.
Thank you. Vanessa Leung. Gary Lennon. John Maderick.
Present.
Thank you. Donald Nesbitt.
Present.
Lindsay Oates. Thank you.
Present.
Thank you. Kathy Park Price.
Present.
Thank you. Lori Podvesker. Tom Shepard.
Present.
Thank you. Jacqueline Tacarante.
Present.
Thank you. That's a quorum.
Okay, great. We have a quorum. First order of business is calendar item number 1, noting the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Retirement held on September 23rd, 2021. The minutes have been previously provided to the board via email and posted to the SharePoint site. May I have a motion to consider the minutes from the September 23rd board meeting?
So moved. Donald Nesbitt.
I missed who that was.
Donald Nesbitt.
Thank you, Don. And second?
Second. This is Tom.
Thank you, Tom. All in favor of approving the minutes for the September 23rd, 2021 board meeting, please indicate your approval.
Michael, I.
Aye.
Isaac, I.
Aye.
Jacqueline.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next up is noting the minutes of the board meeting held on October 20th, 2021. May I have a motion to consider the minutes from the
So
October
moved,
20th?
Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie. In a second.
Michael.
Thank you, Michael. All in favor of approving the minutes for the October 2021 board meeting, please indicate your approval.
Aye.
Michael, I.
Isaac,
aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the executive director's update. Sandy, would you like to share any remarks with us?
Yes, I'm going to limit my remarks to 2 items, medical board update and staffing update. So people know that our disability approval process got scuttled by an inability of the medical board of the DOE to adjudicate some of our cases. Michael Medina, a former counselor for BERS, we have brought him in as a temporary to work on this project for us to accelerate it. He scrubbed the data. We have 85 pending cases. He's developed a plan to equip office space at 55 Water to be clinical space for new medical board staff. We're in the process of procuring equipment to support the doctors, and this would be available by year end. Michael has ongoing conversations with TRS medical board staff, which recently returned to a full 3-doctor complement. They had been running 1 short, which is we require 3 doctors in all our cases. Michael has been engaged with the TRS medical disability administrative staff to start our case review in the TRS facilities. We have not settled that agreement yet. We hope to have that working well before we establish our own clinical facility. Michael's short-term goal is to get a 3-month, get the cases moving forward, and an 18-month goal of establishing an efficient BERS-centric medical board operation concentrated at 55 Water. In terms of staff update, we've had a number of separations since our last Board of Trustees meeting in September. We've had only one significant hire into quality assurance. Interviews are ongoing in accounting, in call center, through CIR, and through our IT department, which is reviewing, going to hire a cybersecurity officer as a deputy IT director. The pandemic, return to office, tight labor markets, and vaccine mandate have had a material impact on BERS staffing. We currently find ourselves 18 FTEs short of fully staffed, not counting temp losses. Some of our key losses include our Director of Data Analytics, 2 temp support staff from Data Analytics, our facilities manager, and some key operations staff that have been hired away to other agencies through the recent ARBE list publication. Staffing shortages are impacting operations and member communications the hardest. Staff shortages have been compounded by other staff reactions to return to office. We have actually seen a 300% increase in annual leave and sick time usage since 2019 comparable periods. All that said, we have maintained our ability to meet with all retirees who are requiring an in-person counseling session at 65 Court Street. And operations has had few backlogs, although there are backups happening in the Galeno cases and in disabilities, et cetera. That's pretty much it for me, John, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for Sandy? Okay, we'll move on. Now on to the ordinary business of BERS. The next item on this afternoon's agenda are calendar items 2 through 17, the ordinary business of BERS. May I have a motion to consider?
Motion, Donald Nesbitt.
Thanks, Don. In a second.
Second, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Alex, can you please tell us about the ordinary business of BERS?
Sure. These are all the retirements, death benefits, and refunds that have been processed since the last meeting of this board.
Thank you, Alex. We will now vote on these items. All in favor of approving calendar items 2 through 17, please indicate your approval.
Approved.
Approve.
Aye.
Isaac, aye.
Jacqueline, aye.
I approve.
Tom, aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda belongs in attorney-client session. May I have a motion to consider going into attorney-client session?
Michael.
Thank you, Michael. In a second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Please.
Isaac, aye.
Aye.
I approve.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Karen, can you please remove all attendees besides the board? Thank you.
Everybody's back in.
Thank you. Okay, we are now in public session. The next item on the agenda is calendar item number 18, authorization to enter into an agreement with Dell Technologies to provide IT patch management services and controls. May I have a motion to consider?
Move,
Michael.
Tom.
Tom, and a second from Michael. Thank you. Steve, can you please tell us about this resolution? If he's here. I don't see Steve.
Is there someone else who can speak?
I can.
No,
reach out
Steve
to
is here. Steve is here. Steve is here.
He's there? Okay.
Steve,
I'm sorry. I was
There you
I
are.
was talking to myself. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, for the resolution, this is for Dell getting to do some professional services for us regarding the iVenti request. Yes, indeed, this is a patch management that we're trying to implement at BERS to automate the process of patching of our system. Currently, it's done almost manually, and I'm not too comfortable with that. With regarding the security of the systems, we just want to make sure that every device that we have at the BERS is patched as a patch comes available from any of the vendors, whether it's Microsoft, Cisco, whatever the vendor that we're dealing with. We just want to make sure that it's patched at the right time. So this is more about security of the system.
Hey, Steve, how are you? It's Isaac. I got
Hey,
a
Isaac,
question.
how you doing? Yeah.
Good, man. Yeah, just one quick technical question. I get patch management. Is it going to come via Ethernet over the cloud if everybody keeps their computers on, or are they coming in and manually doing it off a flash drive or something like that? Like, how is that working on a
All right,
technical
this is
side?
going to be on-prem software that we need to install. Yeah, it's not going to be over the cloud. This is something that we're going to control ourselves. We will be patching the systems on a timely fashion. Whatever a system is, if your device is off, as soon as it comes up, it will get the patch automatically. So
Okay, so you're pushing it, but you're doing it in-house.
That is
It's
correct.
it's the aggregating of the patching that Dell's doing.
That is correct. Yes, it's not coming
Okay,
directly from
I
Dell.
got you. I got you.
All we needed is just the software to do that.
Right.
Hi, this is Tom. Actually, the question I have is kind of an add-on to the question that Isaac just asked. I'm curious as to whether or not these patches for systems exist as part of contracts we already have. And I guess the second part of that is, if so, you've already answered that in that you want to just centralize or make the process of patching happen from one place. So can you answer the first part for me, please?
The first part you mentioned about the contract that we already may have, I'm not sure about which contract are you referring to. Is this for a DOE?
No, you're saying that this what we're being asked to consider is like patch management, right? And we have various systems that require patching, right? And the question I have then is, with those systems, is patch management a part of the systems that we already have?
Well, currently we have a patch management that is, I would say, partial. It's not really fully automated. The fact that the tool that we are using, it's almost a manual process that we have to do on a probably checking a basis. When something comes up, we have to go and push that patch. But we want this iVenti's tool to do it automatically for us. I don't need to do some kind of scheduling. As soon as there is a patch that becomes available, we basically do almost nothing to have those devices patched. So currently we're doing it, I would say, manually, put it that way, because we have to reach out to all the staff and we said that we have a patch that we need to update, and we will schedule that on a timely basis. But I mean, when you look at today's cybersecurity, it's not something that has to be that you want to miss a timing on that said, I'm going to do it. I got this patch and it's lingering in our system waiting there to be patched. And until I have to reach out to the user or maybe the server itself to reach out and say that I need to schedule a patch when you're going to be available, because we cannot basically go there and shut down the device of the user. But this can be scheduled at the time that we want it to be happening. Anytime that there is a patch that comes out, it will be basically pushed out automatically. So we don't have really today a system that does that, and that's why we're trying to acquire that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, I get it, and I you know, I'm supportive of it. I just wanted to understand if we already had a system in place. And what I'm hearing is that you do kind of, but it's a manual system that's not very efficient, and we need to do these kinds of things. One, so that one, we fully automate the process, but two, an automated process will keep better track of you know, patches and fixes that are necessary for so I'm okay with that.
That is correct, Tom. So it's just a partial system that we have. So we want to fully automate that.
Any other questions? Steve?
Yes.
Anything else for Steve? Can we mute whoever call-in number 8 is?
Oh, sorry.
He said that oftentimes he would give women kisses on the forehead as a way of greeting them. But this actually accuses him of doing something.
Hello?
Can you check this in the background?
Yeah, or, you know, the partner's defense when this was going on was that people had misunderstood his.
If you're sitting with the TV on in the background, we can hear CNBC or whatever it is that you're listening to. If you could please mute if you're not talking.
I can mute some individuals, and if they need to speak, then they'll unmute themselves.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
There weren't any further questions for Steve, right? Good. Thank you so much. I actually had one. Steve, what is this costing us?
I think it's for the purchasing the software is about 52, I believe, 52,000.
Okay.
With the implementation.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
It's $58,741.20.
Thank you, Sabrina.
And over that,
almost there.
I'm sorry, Steve, just one other question. I'm not looking at this visually. So what's the term of the contract? Is it 1 year?
Okay, so that is something, I mean, for the 1 year
term.
It's 1 year term, but again, I think this is a little bit maybe confusing the way I think maybe it's set the way I was looking at it, because this is something that it's not going to be recurring every year. We have to pay that amount. I don't believe that's the case. This is a software. There's going to be a maintenance agreement after that, a support maybe 20% of that, 10% of that, 15% of that.
Understood.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. We will now vote on this item. All those in favor of calendar item number 18, please indicate your approval. Aye.
Aye.
Dick, aye.
Jacqueline, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 19, authorization to amend an agreement with Axia Torrey Cove Partners, LLC to provide private markets investment consulting services to the Board of Education Retirement System. May I have a motion to consider?
Michael.
Thank you, Michael. And a second?
Second, Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie. Antonio, can you please tell us about this?
Yes, thank you, John. This is a request to amend the contract with Axia Torrey Cove. Currently, our private market investment consulting contract covers due diligence for primary funds in private equity, private credit, infrastructure, and real estate. It does not currently cover due diligence for co-investment opportunities. You'll be hearing an opportunity in executive session that the board has been discussing and tabling since May of this year. but this allows us room in the current contract to have Accessatory Cove look at co-investment opportunities, do due diligence for them. And the cost for this right now is not to exceed $150,000 in total for the total contract amount of $785,000. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Antonio?
Hi,
Julie?
Antonio. I have two quick questions. One, is that a fixed, is it a fixed or is it a per diligence fee? And the second question is, what have we been doing about diligence on co-investments to date?
So it is a per diligence fee. And so were we to go past that cap, couldn't do any more diligence unless it came back to the board. So that's the first question. So there's a per diligence fee. That's not $150,000. It's lower than that, but that we can do up to that amount. And up till now, so it's kind of taken stages. Prior to the development of the kind of BAM internal co-investment infrastructure program, we typically had set up sidecars, or within each individual primary deal, the infrastructure team has asked for the ability to do it. And so we have participated in co-investments before, but they've been on a one-off basis where say one of our managers offered co-invest and we participated because we gave them the flexibility for that fund. This would allow the co-investment deals to come in from a variety of our approved managers without having to have it tied to a single fund.
Thank you.
Antonio, it's Russ.
Yes,
Are you able, what is the per co-invest cost?
30,000.
Okay. And how many are we expecting per year? Like 2 to 4?
2 to 3. We're thinking 2 to 3. Over the the period for the program is 2 years. So 2 to 3 years, and so we're not contemplating participating in all of them. So.
Sure. And I guess to follow up on Natalie's question, when we're doing these co-invest deals on a one-off basis in the past, was the diligence just being done by BAM?
Our consultants did have to sign off on them, but I think the issue, and this is kind of coming not just with us, but with the other systems, as I'm sure you all have realized in some of your other conversations, that it's an entirely different thing to do diligence on the individual deals, and so occasionally they've been wrapped into the overall retainer, but increasingly it's seen as this is not included in our retainer fee. Or you'll get a couple within the retainer fee, and then everything else would come out of the on a per diligence basis. So that's kind of how the setup's been. And this was prior. I mean, when we participated, this was prior to us hiring Accessatory Cove. And so I think for the ones we did participate in, we had Stepstone.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio. We will now vote on this item. All those in favor of calendar item number 18, please indicate your approval. I approve.
Isaac, aye.
Aye, Deb.
Jacqueline,
I
I.
approve.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is calendar item 19, authorization. Oh, wait, hold on. We're already past there. Sorry. Not paying attention. Calendar item 20, sorry. Authorization to the control of the City of New York to negotiate fund agreements on behalf of the Board of Education Retirement System. May I have a motion to consider? Thank you. That's Lindsay. And second?
Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Antonio, can you please tell us about this?
Absolutely, and this, I'll try and make this as brief as possible, but it does have some kind of. I think there's a story behind why we put together this resolution. Historically, the Bureau of Asset Management has negotiated investment agreements on our behalf already. There has never been kind of a memorialization of that through resolution. Over the past year, 2 years, there's been issues that kind of come up, and which I think in the executive committee has discussed necessitated this resolution. So over the past few years, we had several investment deals fall through in legal negotiations that were publicized And so in reaction to that, the Bureau of Asset Management started asking the board to weigh in and approve waiving individual line items within our standard side letter. That's necessitated meetings, emergency meetings, emergency resolutions on a very short time frame. It is our opinion, and I think the opinion of the executive team and the consultants, that the board really shouldn't be weighing in on individual line items in a legal agreement. That our guidance is through our investment policy statement. Our guidance is through our kind of recommendations on individual investment funds, and that once we've given the resolution to move forward, that the Comptroller's Office, Bureau of Asset Management, and the legal counsel, it is their job to do the negotiations in exchange for transparency. One of the other issues we've run into is not having access to our standard side letter or notice that an agreement has happened or an agreement has fallen through. And so I think this resolution trades kind of discretion, explicit discretion on the legal negotiations, which in practice has already happened, for transparency, that once an agreement is completed, we are notified and given a copy of that agreement. So this resolution, for a period of 1 year, gives the Bureau of Asset Management and the Comptroller's Office explicit kind of discretion to negotiate those deals without having to come back to the board with approval, using our IPS as a guidance, and then notifying us whether or not a deal has fallen through for what reasons, or whether or not a deal has been approved. And once approved, we receive copies of all the executed agreements. And happy to take any questions or elaborate on this issue.
Before you get to that, just know that Vanessa joined us. Thank you, Vanessa.
Just
No question.
one technical question, Antonio. You said for 1 year, so we're looking at this as every year the board will reevaluate the success of this.
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, there is I'm saying cost, but certainly some of these issues are thorny, right? And they've ended up in the press, the GP expense provision, as you all know. And so we should evaluate on a regular basis whether or not in a year's time we see that actually, no, it's better that we weigh in on these items, because either we're seeing that markets have changed, or deals are still falling through, or they're progressing on things that we don't like. And so that's something I think we should evaluate. But generally speaking, I do believe that the system has worked for the most part, and so memorializing that they do have the kind of the authority to do these to negotiate these agreements, I think is important.
Thank you, Antonio. Any other questions for him? Great. All right, we will now vote on this item. All in favor of calendar item number 20, please indicate your approval.
I, Deb.
Michael, I.
Isaac, aye.
Aye.
Jacqueline, aye.
Vanessa, aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The next items are investment items that belong in executive session. May I have a motion to enter executive session? Thank you,
Michael.
and second, Tom. Thank you so much. Let's vote. All in favor of entering executive session, please indicate your approval. Aye.
Isaac, aye.
Aye. Vanessa.
Aye.
Jacqueline, aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We are now in executive session. Please stop the recording.
Give me a second. I'll admit everyone back in.
Okay, we up and running?
Yeah, everybody's back in. Recording's back on, so you may proceed.
Thank you. We are now in public session. Alex, can you please report out the board's actions during the executive session?
Certainly. During executive session, the board voted to approve calendar item 21, authorization of the controller to commit a portion of the opportunistic fixed income portfolio. Calendar item 22, authorization of the controller to commit a portion of the infrastructure portfolio. Calendar item 23, authorization of the controller to commit a portion of the infrastructure portfolio. Calendar item 24, authorization of the controller to commit a portion of the private equity portfolio. Calendar item 25, authorization of the controller to commit a portion of the private equity portfolio. And calendar item 26, acceptance of the withdrawal of the resignation of a public officer.
Thank you, Alex. Next item on the agenda is calendar item 27, approval of the 2022 shareholder engagement plan. May I have a motion to consider? Thank you, Vanessa. In a second.
So moved, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Antonio, can you please tell us about the shareholder engagement plan?
Absolutely. On the October 12th executive committee meeting, the Office of the Comptroller's Corporate Governance Office presented the 2022 shareholder plan and focus list. The office is going to put in a total of 28 shareholder proposals across four different strategies. First, themes: diversity and equity and inclusion, climate change, executive compensation, and human capital management. The 11 of the shareholder proposals will be on EEO-1 disclosure. 6 will be on board diversity disclosure. 3 on executive diversity search policy for the target companies. 2 will be on the 10b-5 insider trading policy. 2 for CapEx alignment with decarbonization goals. 1 with the greenhouse gas reduction goals proposal. 2 with human capital management as part of the board oversight proposal, and 1 for both the Paris aligned climate lobbying reporting and the reduction goal proposal. And so for a total of 28. And the focus list was attached to the board packet. And happy to answer any questions, but the executive committee reviewed the materials and is concurring our approval for the 2022 shareholder plan.
Any questions for Antonio? All right. We will now vote on this item. All in favor of calendar item number 27, please indicate your approval. Aye.
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 Isaac, aye.
Jacqueline.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The next item on this afternoon's agenda is noting receipt of the GASP reports. May I have a motion to discuss? Thank you, Vanessa. In a second.
Janelle.
Thank you, Janelle. Sherry, can you please tell us about the GASP reports?
Sure thing. So the GASB stands for the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. This board pulls together accounting standards, the statements that are numbered 67, 68, 74, 75, and they prescribe how to account for certain pension and OPEB liabilities. So these liabilities are reported on different basis than the funding liabilities that calculate the contributions that are presented to this board for funding purposes. So those liabilities are calculated based on, how to calculate the contribution and what to put into the pension plan. These liabilities are for accounting purposes to disclose in financial statements that are given to the comptroller of the city at the end of the fiscal year, after the end of the fiscal year, to report for our city financial statements. So 6768 was a report that was issued on September 24th, and that details the pension liabilities for the 5 retirement systems and pension funds. GASB 7475 report, which was issued on September 10th, 2021, details the OPEB liabilities for the city. And both these reports can be found on my agency's website. That's nyc.gov/actuary. There's a reports tab. If you're interested in reading it, it is a pretty detailed report that can be accessed on the reports tab of the website. So I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. Otherwise, I will turn it back over to John.
Are there any questions for Sherry? All right. Doesn't seem like any. That concludes the agenda for this meeting. The next meeting of the BERS Board of Trustees is scheduled for Tuesday, November 23rd. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Vanessa, and a second?
Tom.
Thanks, Tom. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please indicate your approval. Aye.
Aye.
Isaac, aye.
Aye.
Aye, Jacqueline.
Hi, Deb.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. That's all, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you. We are now adjourned.
Thank you,
Night,
folks.
everyone.
Thank you.